The birth of an alicorn is something Equestria has never seen.
It is beyond even our understanding.
Whatever you think about this episode, it should surely be memorized mainly for that single line, the little destroyer of all the Alarcon headcanons and established lore that made big part of the community crying. And for that I can say, are you seriously jumping to conclusions again? I actually wonder how many of those people think about that again, because for me the explanation is pretty obvious, but not relevant to the whole episode because that's not the main plot. I say even more, Flurry Heart is also not the main plot. I said that many times and I'll say that again. In my opinion, this episode was a testing ground for the finale. It now makes sense for me that Starlight's arc is more interesting than Royal Baby. And definitely, it's not because bronies were complaining about her rush redemption, because the script for this episode was done long before the Curie Remark premiere. As much as most bronies hated her after season 5, I gave her a chance because she intrigued me, and seeing her struggles throughout the episode, I actually liked her. It started with the PTSD and fully sold me on her after her break. She genuinely regret everything she did after Sunburst get his Curie mark, maybe even to the point of fear. We know from the later episodes that Starlight was avoiding friendship lessons because she was afraid of letting everyone down. Here we're talking about avoiding the meeting with Pony that pretty much cost her sanity. So as much as she shouldn't, I can understand why she is doing that. But despite that, there is also another evidence suggesting that this episode is a testing ground for the season finale. Starlight helped in solving the crisis. It was mainly Sunburst, but still, without her, the Crystal Empire would probably turn into a winter wasteland. And she didn't just talk with him, she actively helped by casting one of the spells that helped restoring the Crystal Heart and save the day. That's the same shift in focus we've seen in the finale. Call it a long shot, for me that's enough to hold to that statement. As for the Starlight arc itself, what else can I say? It's more interesting than their baby plot, but still predictable. Though, it's also good to see that she didn't lose any of her cleverness, or she still can be somehow assertive. Not as much as in No Second Princess, but still. And for me, her struggles make her sympathetic. However, the best part is not Starlight herself, but her dynamic with Spike. It's just beautiful. Pretty much this was an introduction to the best season for Spike so far. Because of the past episodes, back when this one had its premiere, I thought it's probably the best portrayal of him so far and it can't go better. And then we get Gauntlet of Fire and times that are changing. But Crystal Link will still be the one that prepared the ground for Spike being competent character instead of punching bag / source of the conflict. And that scene when he's cheering up Starlight is one of my favorite moments. Pretty much the reason why season 6 is far from being one of the weakest season. And there's also Sunburst, a nerdy social recluse pretending to be a wizard. I wonder if there are any people who actually fall for his lie, but I'm still glad for him, for the very fact that he's a likable male character and a supporting character who actually solved the problem. And there's also the fact that the abilities are not everything. Knowledge is also important. He has the knowledge but not abilities, and yet he's making a good use of it, being the only pony who actually know what to do. Not to mention one of the common complaining about Starlight's past has been addressed. People say that she or he could write a letter, but actually that's not true. He was not doing good in magic school and was so embarrassed of that, so he couldn't tell Starlight the truth. So he was left with two choices, lying or saying nothing. He picked the second option, so he didn't write a letter, and if Starlight would write hers, he would not respond, and that resulted in deepening the feel of abandonment. Those three characters pretty much steal the show, to the point Flurry Heart didn't make that much of an impact on me. Cute little baby with uncontrollable destructive magic that is also an Alarcon, who also accidentally destroyed the Crystal Heart and later got nerfed by not quite a wizard. End of story. Though I have to give this part of the episode some credit for comedy relief. Thanks to that, it's more interesting. And about the Alarcon headcanons, guys, come on! The part Equestria has never seen was added for a reason. For me, Celestia said that not only she never seen the birth of an alicorn after Equestria establishment, but maybe also she never seen the birth of an alicorn coming from a unicorn and not born alicorn couple. But genetic is working. The magic that turned Cadis into an alicorn obviously changed her gene code to resemble an alicorn, and since her genes are dominant, the baby is an alicorn. Plus the show staff stated that Celestia and Luna are natural born alicorns, so shut up. As for the rest of the characters, pretty much they are reduced to supporting characters. The main 5 are in even worse situation, because they are reduced to background ponies. Twilight at least have her mentor / aunt role, so she plays a big part, but no more hero of the day title for her. That one was stolen by Sunburst. At least the princesses are more proactive and are actually doing something. A for effort. Shining Armor have some better development finally. Not only he is a dork, but now he's also a stressed out dork. I think that's nice. Cadence is a mother now? Twilight's parents are talking. Yay! Took them only 5 years and 2 even bigger events for that. More development for Crystal Empire is also fine, even though it's not as much as I would like to see. At least now we know how important the Crystal Heart is. Still, I would rather deal with monster attack every so often than be afraid that in case of big fragile MacGuffin breaks, it means it will result in chill out that would be the last in my life. And for a city that big, its population is quite low. But I like that change of formula. Not so big bad villain as usual. This time it's a force of nature that is a threat. It makes this world even more magical, yet it also implies that Equestria is the only relatively safe place in this world. However, I can understand people who don't like that kind of change. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen this before. Oh wait, we did. Season 4 episode 1 and 2? Hello! I still think this is a pretty good two-parter. I quite like it, mainly for its lighter nature and not the usual formula. And more development for underdeveloped character and places is always welcome. Not to mention, I will be saying as much as necessary that this episode sets the ground for a shift in a character focus that played pretty well in season finale. Though I still would nitpick the fact that maybe it should have a bit more development for Flurryheart as a born alicorn, or maybe expand a bit on an alicorn lore on the occasion, or at least make Cadence look more tired because of the motherhood. Probably I should nitpick the fact that the main 5 pretty much don't exist here, but again, knowing what happened in season finale, it's not that of a big deal. Biggest development goes to Starlight as she reunites with Sunburst, and so her journey throughout the magic of friendship begins. For Twilight, this is also a life lesson of being a teacher, not to mention the beginning of the best season for Spike, which sadly happens in expense of established character later on. Pretty much this is one of those episodes I like to rewatch from time to time, and I would recommend everyone to give it a try. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you like it, that's cool, but I will still defend this episode. I'm Sharpwit, and seriously, Rarity, thanks for watching.